Hello guys and welcome back to a new Sword Staff video. It's been a while since I gave you guys a proper update on my Sword Staff account, and honestly, the amount of progress I've made since the last one has been pretty crazy. I'm currently level 146 with over 8.5 million combat power, and I've reached a point where I'm no longer just chasing basic upgrades. I'm starting to build towards some serious endgame goals. So today I want to show you what's changed on my account, talk about the new Sunset Mirage content, share some of the upgrades I'm currently working toward, and of course give you guys my thoughts on where I think your resources are best spent. Let's start with the biggest change to my character. I've managed to equip my Conqueror with the full ink set, and the combat power increase from completing the set was absolutely insane. This has easily been one of the biggest upgrades I've made recently, but I'm not finished yet. My next goal is to complete the mythic version of the set, so I can activate its passive effect. And this is where the set becomes especially interesting. On top of boosting my attack and overall damage, the Mythic Ink set gives me a new effect called Urgent Protection. Basically, it allows me to survive what would normally be a fatal blow once, and after triggering, I get a massive 90% reduction to incoming damage. For my Conqueror, I think this is an incredible combination. I'm able to get a significant boost to my offensive capabilities while also gaining an additional defensive safety net. That becomes especially valuable when I'm pushing difficult PvE content, where enemies can hit extremely hard. So for me, completing the Mythic Ink set isn't just about seeing a bigger combat power number. It's about making my character stronger, while also giving me more room to survive difficult encounters. I've also been making some serious progress with my skills. I've managed to push several of my newer skills all the way to Mythic tier, including Piercing Assault, which we talked about previously. Getting these skills to Mythic has made another noticeable difference to my overall power, and this is something I've really started to appreciate at this stage of the game. At over 8.5 million combat power, the upgrades aren't always going to come from one massive piece of gear. Sometimes it's a skill upgrade, sometimes it's a Phantomon, sometimes it's a companion, and sometimes it's simply getting a better piece of equipment. All of these smaller improvements eventually add up to a massive difference. Now let's talk about the current season, because we have a brand new map called Sunset Mirage. And honestly, this map has been a lot of fun to explore. One of the things that makes Sunset Mirage unique is the sheer amount of resources you can collect throughout the different areas and floors. Of course, you're not going to have access to everything immediately. More regions are unlocked day by day as the season progresses. So there's always another area waiting for you as you continue playing. I've especially enjoyed the moments where I run into enemies that have a higher combat power than my own. At that point, you can't always rely on your stats to carry you through the fight. I've actually had to experiment with different dishes depending on the enemies I'm fighting, and some of these have made a surprisingly big difference. Not only can they help you overcome difficult encounters, but they can also provide permanent stat increases, making them useful beyond just that individual battle. So if you're hitting a wall against an enemy that's stronger than you, don't immediately assume you just need to grind another massive amount of combat power. Sometimes changing your preparation and using the right dish can be enough to turn the fight around. Another system I've been enjoying this season is the new reward-based challenge content. As you continue progressing through the season, you're accumulating rewards based on different aspects of your account. These challenges are separated into categories like exploration and character progression, so you're naturally making progress toward them simply by playing the game. You're exploring the new map, improving your character, increasing your power, and unlocking content. And all of that contributes toward additional rewards. And there are some really valuable rewards waiting here. The one I consider a must-have for basically every type of player is the Mythic Relic Chest. So make sure you're checking these challenges regularly and claiming your rewards as you progress, because you can end up getting a lot of valuable resources simply by doing the things you're already doing every day. Now, for the players who don't mind spending a little bit of money on the game, I also want to share where I personally think you're going to get the most value. My number one recommendation is the monthly pass. For me, this is easily the best all-around purchase because it gives you a steady supply of premium currency over time, and that currency can then be used to accelerate your progression. For example, by purchasing additional exploration attempts and getting more resources from the new seasonal content. So if you're looking for one purchase that provides consistent value throughout the month, this is definitely the first one I'd recommend. My second choice would be the Pilgrimage Pass. The amount of resources packed into this thing is honestly pretty impressive. You're getting a legendary dish, summoning currency, exploration items, and most importantly, a guaranteed legendary relic. For the amount of progression you can get from everything included, I think the value is extremely good, especially if you're someone who is already comfortable spending a little on the game. And finally, let's talk about what's next for my account. My next major goal is enhancing my second mythic phenomenon, Aegis Wing. Once I enhance it enough, I'll be able to unlock 2 additional skills and eventually use it in battle as well. Because of that, I've been spending my Phantomon summon currency to collect those 60 crystals as quickly as possible. It's definitely a grind, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of power spike Aegis Wing gives me once I can fully utilize it. I've also managed to unlock 4 new companions, including the premium Luo Tianyi from the collaboration that just ended. And those 4 companions alone gave my combat power another huge boost. So even though I'm already sitting at over 8.5 million CP, there are still plenty of upgrades ahead of me. Overall, this has probably been one of the most exciting stages of progression for my account so far. At this point, I'm not just trying to increase my combat power for the sake of seeing a bigger number. I'm working towards specific goals, completing my Mythic Ink set, strengthening my skills, unlocking Aegis Wing's additional abilities, progressing through Sunset Mirage, and pushing my Conqueror as far as I can. And that's what I really enjoy about Sword Staff. Even when you reach a high combat power, there's always another upgrade to chase and another piece of content that can push your character further. So, let me know how your account is progressing and what your biggest upgrade has been this season. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.